You can smell it a mile away, and a lot of times people hide behind their business or behind what they think people want to see. They think people want to see that success, but really people want to see authenticity.
Welcome to the My Future Business Show, where we get you in front of your best audience and keep you there. Not only are we interviewing the biggest names in business to help you become even more successful, we're inviting you to book your spot on the show to help you grow your business. So at the end of the call, make sure you fill in the interview application form at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. Hi and welcome back to the My Future Business Show. My name's Rick Nuske. I'm your host and I'm looking outside my window. It's a beautiful sunny day. It's a beautiful day to be alive. And with that in mind, my next guest, Lynn Owens, has an amazing story to share with you today. How are you, Lynn?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful. Thank you for asking.
Look, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. I've been looking over your bio, and your story is an amazing one. I'd love to just start by sharing with the audience. What's your background? What do you do with yourself?
I am a former educator, and I owned another business for many, many years, and then life interrupted, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And that started me on a journey of transformation and healing.
So now you see this, it's all too common nowadays that people go through these struggles behind their business. And for those who are listening today, we're going to take a bit of a different angle on this one because, as a former business owner yourself, Lynn, you would know the ins and outs of running a business. And I'd love to explore a little bit about the stresses that you must have gone through as a business owner at that time. And what did that do to your mindset? And how did you work through that situation in your life at that stage?
It was very, very difficult. During the season that I owned a consulting business, actually, it was tough. And then getting my diagnosis really could have sent me down a deep, dark, black hole. But it was in the moment that I got that diagnosis that I decided I'm not going. I'm changing the way I've been living my life, and I'm going to live my life a very different way.
Did you just walk away from your business altogether? How long was the recovery process?
The recovery process from diagnosis to completion of all of the chemos was actually 5 months. I literally let the business go. The business no longer served me. And if I'm truly honest, the business had consumed me and I hadn't had a life. My life was filled with stress. I worked on vacations. I was never in the moment. I was always working the business.
So this has obviously had a major impact on your psyche, and since that time, you've gotten back on your feet, and you're now doing some other programs in another form of business. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I am a women's empowerment coach. And as my former business, I lived a life full of struggle juggle where I juggled a gazillion tasks.
Struggle juggle, I like that.
Thank you. I always was filled with anxiety and overwhelm. And at night, I can remember looking over and my husband would be sleeping soundly. And I would be thinking, what have I done? There was money in the bank, but there wasn't fulfillment, there wasn't purpose. And I was always thinking, oh my gosh, I've got 30 more minutes to sleep and then I've got to get up and do this and do this and do this. So I created a business for women that are in the place that I used to be, that are overwhelmed and filled with anxiety. And when you look on the outside, it looks all put together. But when you begin uncovering and peeling back the layers, there's emotional hurt, a lot of times there's psychological and just all sorts of things. Mine led to physical, but when the body is reacting to stress, it causes physical ailments.
Most certainly. I love the idea that, you've gone through this I guess this experience in life, and you've used it as a bit of a grounding for yourself to help others. Now, whereabouts are you, the Woman's Empowerment Life Coaching Program? Whereabouts do you do that? Is that an online thing, or is that in front of people? How does that work?
It is online. Um, the way it works, I'm based in the United States, but I work with women all over the globe
Hmm.
through Skype, through Google Hangout, through the WhatsApp. So it's not a location specific business
Hmm.
because I find wherever women are, there are challenges with being successful and balance.
Did you, with the Renew program, could you tell us a little bit more about how that dovetails into your life coaching?
So I initially created a group, a, a Facebook community rather, and it is Allow Space Now with Lynn, Renew with Gratitude. And so women join this free community. They post their gratitude because being grateful is essential it's just an essential component of our lives. As a former business owner, and I'm being very transparent and authentic. I was not grateful. All I could think of was more, 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 more employees, more money, more contracts. There was never a space when I said, this feels good.
Mm. So it's almost like there was this perpetual dissatisfaction, maybe because you didn't know what the goal looked like at that stage.
That's exactly right. And on top of that, I think when I met one goal, the stakes would go higher, but there was just never a place where I felt at peace and content. So the first step is joining our online community.
Hmm.
And then from there, women have the opportunity to move into the Renew program if they so choose to.
Right.
There's connection and good teaching in the community, but oftentimes just as if, personal training, we get a trainer, or if you're learning to do a specific skill, you hire a coach. This is no different. I empower women to live lives that they love.
And that we're talking about whether or not actually starting a business would be a good idea for them, things like that. Tell us a little bit about the actual core content.
The core content of Renew is releasing struggle, juggle, and anxiety. A
Hmm.
lot of times women come and they absolutely don't hate their job, and they have something else that they're passionate about. And so our coaching may be about helping them pursue the business of their dreams. Sometimes women come and their Renew is all about shedding weight, releasing the weight so that they can run a 5K.
Hmm.
So for every woman, often her Renew is different, but the outcome of being her self-worth going up, her her setting clear boundaries and knowing these are my healthy boundaries, her belief in herself, all of those things are part of the renewal process.
And in terms of looking back on your history as a business owner, when you felt that you were becoming anxious about running the business at that stage, did you recognise the triggers? And is this something that you are able to help others recognise when they're going through it?
Initially, I did not recognize the triggers.
Hmm.
I was not working with a coach. I was totally in hustle mode.
Mm.
Totally in hustle mode. Now looking back, every trigger was there, but in order to observe those triggers, you have to stop and be reflective. And that was something that as the triggers were coming, I just continued pushing and pushing and pushing through.
What type of person is coming to the Renew program? Are they senior executives? Are they, juniors? Where are they at? Are they all sorts of different people?
They are all sorts of different people, everything from CEOs
Hmm.
to hospital attending physicians to stay-at-home moms. Because I think wherever a woman is, if her life is filled with struggle juggle, if her life is filled with anxiety and overwhelm, there's a solution for that.
And if somebody's listening to this call right now, Lynn, and they don't yet feel confident enough or are ready to come towards you to access your program, what are some of the practical things that they could do to improve themselves right now?
Step one is releasing perfectionism.
That's a big one, isn't it?
That's a huge one. But work towards progression. And for many years, I hid behind a mask and I wore a mask like a Barbie doll. And on the outside, everything looked good, but I was always working and juggling and struggling.
Hmm.
But I wasn't open enough to say to anyone, I'm crashing and burning on the inside.
Mm.
I'm hurting.
Yeah.
I'm suffering. So releasing perfectionism and working toward progress. Just make progress towards your goals. I would also say to a woman, be authentic. Decide what your best authentic life looks like. And the way your best authentic life looks today, that may change next week. So there has to be some flexibility there, but I think oftentimes we think, well, this is my best authentic life and this will be my best authentic life forevermore. And that is so far from the truth.
Yeah, well, because life changes, doesn't it? In
It
in
changes.
terms of authenticity, I find that, when I'm looking at people and I talk with them and I find out a little bit about them, there seems to oftentimes, I'm not saying all the time because there are some very authentic people around, but oftentimes you feel like people are putting on this face, I don't know, it's like they're not truly living their authentic self. And you can just smell that a mile away, can't you?
You can smell it a mile away, and a lot of times people hide behind their business or behind what they think people want to see. Okay? They think people want to see that success. But really, people want to see authenticity. If they know that you are real, that you've got trash in your trash can or, whatever your authenticity is, that's respected. But perfection, it's not even practical and realistic. I would also tell women and men, embed daily nurturing for you in your life. Make time to nurture you every single day. And that may look one way one day and another way another day. Minute by minute, day by day, that may change. But we serve from our saucer. We serve others from our cup overflowing. And when we don't nurture ourselves, our cup gets really empty really fast.
So you're suggesting looking inwards and serving yourself and replenishing your needs before serving others. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. And that could be a walk in nature. That could be sitting quietly for 2 or 3 minutes.
Hmm.
It's going to be different for everyone, but it's very difficult to serve when we are not replenished.
So, does that include, the physical self? Does that mean, given your experiences, are you now suggesting, look, just take a step away and, move away from the workspace for a while and focus on that side of it as well?
And you know what? It really depends. I enjoy walking.
Hmm.
So I highly suggest that, there be some sort of physical activity. But again, that may not feel good to everybody. That may not be their superpower.
Hmm.
Everybody has their own superpower. So it's up to you to decide what our superpower is, what makes us feel the absolute best. And then to make time for it. If you're in your office and you can stop and do a mindful activity, do it there. But if you're in your office and you don't have the ability to disconnect, leave the building.
Mm.
But it's going to be different for everyone.
It seems to me, Lynn, that you've gone through this pretty dramatic experience, and it's really reset your perspective of life overall. I guess what I'd love to know is your philosophy on just being an individual rather than just a pure business owner. Can you share a little bit about what people might think if they've just been diagnosed with something serious? What's the first thing that you'd start them focusing on?
I would stop and totally focus on my healing. I would stop and totally focus on my restoration. Oftentimes, when we hear some not so good news, um, we immediately become devastated and we can't move forward. But start with the end in mind. Okay. And this, again, our brains and our minds are so powerful, but have some sort of vision. And some days that vision is going to shift. It just may mean that you go to a doctor's appointment and you're able to drive there, or whoever's going with you accompanies you, and you put lipstick on.
Hmm. Hmm.
But have some sort of vision. And I will share with you my vision as I went through my breast cancer diagnosis and treatment was what carried me through. I would sit and just imagine and think about vacationing with my family. And that was really the wind beneath my wings. I'm a mom. I have 3 children.
Hmm.
And so often I would just sit and think, oh, I can't wait for us to vacation together again. And that joy just propelled me, and it just gave me the strength just to fight.
It's an amazing story that oftentimes we focus so much on the nuts and bolts of running a business, but I believe oftentimes we overlook those softer sides to ourselves, our families, what's more important than money. And I think if you're listening to this today, there's clearly a message in there if you're coming into some struggles like this. Lynn, if people want to work with you, if they want to touch base and talk with you about what they're going through, how will they best find you?
They can find me on Facebook at Allow Space Now with Lynn. They may also email me at allowspacenow@gmail.com. They may also join our Facebook community, Allow Space Now with Lynn, Renew with Gratitude. And I say to everyone, wherever you are, life is not meant to be lived in isolation. There is a synergy and an energy from being a part of a movement or a part of a group. And when that group gets momentum, whether you have momentum or not, you're going to catch it. So I would invite everyone, don't do life alone, whether it's with us or with another group. Just make certain that you are a part of some sort of movement that's empowering and uplifting.
That's an amazing message. It's been a fantastic call, and if anybody's listening, I'll make the links to Lynn so that you can contact her below this call. Lynn, thank you very much for coming onto the My Future Business show with me today.
Thank you for having me.
It's been fun having you on the call with us today. Now click on that big red subscribe button and make sure you leave us a comment, share us with your friends, and join the growing list of leading entrepreneurs who have enjoyed their time on the show at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. And if you're looking for someone to create professional, evergreen webinar videos that get your audience to take actions you want them to take, then for more details, be sure to visit myfuturebusiness.com/shop.